Camellya is finally here to drain our seed, astrites, and she is amazing. She is a very unique DPS, and in this video I will cover everything you need to know about her, how to build her, how to use her, and more. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting with her kit. Camellya is a main DPS character that specializes in dealing basic attack damage. Most of her damage, heavy attack, dodge counters, and special resonance skill are considered as basic attack damage. Camellya's kit may seem quite complicated, but don't worry, she is quite easy, and I will simplify her kit to make it easy to understand. First of all, Camellya has two modes, normal and the blossom mode where her hair turns red. You can change between these modes using her resonance skill, and there's no fixed duration for the modes. The resonance skill does have a cooldown, but it is only of 4 seconds. There's one more way to switch to normal mode from her blossom mode, which I will talk about in a bit. She actually has 3 modes, but these two are her main ones. Both the modes have their own benefits, and you need to switch between them depending on the situation. In blossom mode, Camellya gets suspended in the air by continuously consuming stamina, and she is stuck in one place, unable to move. For most of the time, you would want to stay in this mode for dealing high damage. You can still dodge in this mode, but if you're up against a very mobile enemy where you cannot catch up to them with her dodges, you will need to stay in her normal mode. And after they stop moving, or after you break their white bar, you can switch to the blossom mode to deal high damage. So unless you need the mobility, you will stay in her blossom mode. Now let's talk about her attacks. Camellya is the real definition of spin to win. Camellya has a 5-hit basic attack combo and a heavy attack just like any other character. After Camellya's 3rd basic attack or her heavy attack, holding the normal attack button will make her spin continuously to deal damage. In her blossom mode, her basic attack and heavy attacks is replaced by a special basic attack called Vining Vaults, which is a 4-hit combo. After performing the 3rd hit of this basic attack, holding the normal attack button will make her do Blazing Waltz, which is her spin attack. Even though Camellya is stuck in one place, she moves a bit while performing her attacks. This attack will continuously consume stamina. Her dodge counter, resonance skill, and even jump are replaced. All the damage in this mode are considered as basic attack damage. Casting the resonance skill will end her blossom state. Jumping in this mode will deal damage and end the blossom state. Moving on to her forte circuit, it looks a bit confusing, but let's go step by step. Camellya can hold up to 100 crimson pistols, that is her forte circuit stacks. She gains these stacks either from her intro skill or from her forte circuit's ephemeral, which we will discuss in a bit. Both of these attacks give maximum stacks at once. These stacks are consumed by hitting targets with almost all of Camellya's attacks except her liberation. Consuming 10 Crimson Pistol will recover 4 Concerto energy and gives 1 Crimson Bud, which lasts for 15 seconds and can stack up to 10 times. This is very important, as Camellya really needs Concerto energy and the Crimson Bud is a good addition to her damage. In her forte skill description, you will see the wordings. The energy region multiplier of this attack is increased by 150%. In simple words, these attacks just regenerate energy. In order to understand the Crimson Buds, we first need to know her ephemeral attack. When Camellya's Concerto energy bar is filled, her resonance skill is replaced with ephemeral. The ephemeral has a cooldown of 25 seconds. Casting the ephemeral will consume 70 Concerto energy and deal a massive nuke damage considered as basic attack damage. This is why I said the Concerto energy gain is very useful. Doing this attack will make Camellya enter budding mode. This mode is a buff for the existing 2 main modes. So what does this do? The budding mode will increase the damage multiplier of all of Camellya's attacks except her liberation by 50%. And for each Crimson Bud she had while using the ephemeral attack, the damage multiplier is increased by additional 5%, up to a maximum of 50%. She cannot gain Crimson Buds while in this mode. If you remember, I said that casting the ephemeral will give her max forte stacks. This is very important. Camellya's attack will still keep consuming her 40 stacks, But while in this mode, her energy regen from her attacks is reduced to 0%. That is, she won't generate any resonance energy, but she still generates concerto energy. The budding mode lasts for 15 seconds. This mode will end after all her 40 stacks are used up, or if Camellya is switched out. I am pretty sure this was confusing, so let me try rephrasing this in a simple way. Casting Camellya's intro skill will give her max 40 stacks. After that, you will do her attacks to consume the forte stacks to generate concerto energy and crimson buds. After your concerto bar is filled, the resonance skill will be replaced by ephemeral, which deals a nuke damage and fill her forte circuit again. The ephemeral attack will put Camellya in budding mode, in which all her attacks are enhanced. The attacks are further enhanced based on the number of crimson buds you had while casting ephemeral. And this mode ends when her 40 circuit is used up or when she is switched out. I hope I could make it a bit easier to understand. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you more, but if you look at her combos, which I will talk about later in the video, it is quite simple. Her resonance liberation is very simple. It is a big nuke damage and can be casted in mid-air too. That is, you can cast it in both the forms. The first inherent skill gives 15% havoc damage bonus, and the damage from her heavy attack in normal state will be considered as basic attack damage. The second inherent skill gives her another 15% havoc damage bonus and gives her increased resistance to interruption while casting her basic attacks in both the forms. The intro skill deals some damage and gives her max forte stacks. Camellya's outro skill is a bit special. She has two outro skills. Normally, Camellya's outro skill deals 329% damage of Camellya's attack. But after using her forte circuit's ephemeral attack, the next outro skill will deal an additional damage equal to 459% of Camellya's attack. The outro skill doesn't get replaced, but she deals additional damage, which is very nice. Moving on to her talent priority, her resonance skill takes the top priority, followed by her forte circuit, resonance liberation, normal attacks, and intro skill. The normal attacks can be useful against mobile enemies, so leveling it is not a bad option. Moving on to her echoes. The best echo set is obviously going to be the Sun Sinking Eclipse, as it provides a lot of havoc damage bonus. There are two echo options, the Crownless and the Dreamless. Between these two, the Crownless has better buffs, but it takes up a lot of field time. So Dreamless is the better option, as it deals very high damage, and you can swap cancel this echo skill animation. You can use it before you switch out of Camellya and deal damage without taking any field time. You can use the Crownless, swap cancel it, and still get the buff without getting any damage from this echo skill. But Camellya will only benefit from the 12% havoc damage bonus. So Dreamless is a better option, as it deals huge damage in a massive AoE. The Lingering Tunes is a very competitive alternative to Sun Sinking Eclipse. It is only around 1% worse. As Camellya doesn't favor quick swap playstyle, she can easily stack the buff from this set, and the echo skill will be Mech Abomination. Alternatively, you can use a combination of Sun Sinking and Lingering Tunes. It is a worse option, but still viable. For her echo stats, go for crit rate or damage on the 4-cost echo depending on your stats. Try to aim for 60% crit rate or higher. You can aim for a bit lower crit rate if you use her with Shorekeeper, as she can buff crit rate. For the 3-cost echo, use havoc damage bonus on both the echoes, or a combination of 1 havoc damage and 1 attack percent echo is not far behind. In fact, with her signature weapon, the attack percent and havoc damage bonus combination slightly pulls ahead, but the difference is negligible. And for the 1-cost echo, go for attack percent. Since we have two 4-cost echoes in the Sun Sinking Eclipse set, you can make an echo combination like 4-4-1-1. Two 4-cost echoes that will be the Dreamless and Crownless, and the rest will be 1-cost echoes. The 4-cost echoes will be crit rate and damage, and the 1-cost will be attack percent. This combination is very competitive with her signature weapon, but is slightly worse with other weapons. Here's a chart comparing her different echo setups. Credits to Prydwen Institute. For her substats, prioritize crit stats, followed by attack percent, basic attack damage bonus, and flat attack. Getting some energy regen can be nice too. Moving on to her weapons. The best weapon for Camellya is going to be her signature weapon, and by a very huge margin. If you wish to maximize Camellya's damage, then I recommend going for this. This weapon has a base attack of 587 and gives 24.3% crit rate. From its passive, it gives 12% attack and up to 70% basic attack damage bonus, which is huge. But most of the other sword characters are not primarily focused on basic attack damage, and they cannot benefit from the second half of the weapon's passive, as it requires you to use the Concerto energy bar to get 40% basic attack damage. So it cannot be fully utilized by them, but still a very good option. This weapon is skippable, as we have many other great alternatives, and a very strong free 4-star alternative too. Changli's signature weapon Blazing Brilliance and the standard banner weapon, Emerald of Genesis, both are pretty solid options. The Blazing Brilliance is slightly better, as there's no condition on getting the attack buff, but both are pretty similar. If you don't have any of these 5-star options, don't worry, we have some good 4-star alternatives too. The BP weapon, Lumengloss, is her best 4-star option, as it gives basic attack damage bonus. But since it is paid, getting it to max refinement is very costly. Other 4-star weapons are only slightly behind this weapon, and if they are at a higher refinement, they can outperform it. I just saw that we are getting a new 4-star weapon, Somnoir Anchor, at max refinement for free from the main event, and it is amazing. This weapon is very competitive to the BP weapon, and since we are getting it at max refinement for free, it will easily surpass the Lumengloss if it is at low refinement. This weapon gives up to 40% attack and 12% crit rate, which is huge for a 4-star weapon. For other alternatives, we have the Commando of Conviction that gives a lot of attack percent. Endless Collapse gives resonance energy and attack percent. Then we have the Lunar Cutter, but the passive doesn't fit with Camellya's long rotations. And for 3 stars, you can use the Sword of Night till you get the better options. Moving on to her team comps, Camellya deals most of her damage from her basic attacks. It is around 64% of her total damage. So the best teammate for maximizing her damage is Sanhua, with her massive 38% basic attack damage amplification, and she is very easy to use. She also has very low field time due to her fast rotations. Sadly, the buff only lasts for 14 seconds, which is not enough for entire Camellya's rotation, but this is the best we currently have. You cannot switch Camellya between her rotations as it will end her budding state. Danjin is a great alternative, as she can provide 23% havoc damage amplification, buffing all of Camellya's damage. But using Danjin can be a bit difficult due to her high-risk playstyle. And for the last slot, you will need a sustained support. Shorekeeper is the best one, as her buffs have a long duration, which synergizes well with Camellya's rotations. If you don't have her, Verena is the next best option for providing strong buffs with minimal field time. You can use any other healers like Baiji. Now let's finally move on to her rotations and combos. Despite her complicated kit, Camellya's rotations are quite simple. You will first start with your team rotation and get an intro skill on Camellya. After that, use her resonance skill, followed by her liberation if it is ready. Here's a small tip. Camellya's resonance skill does 2 hits and then a backflip animation. You can cancel the backflip animation by using her resonance liberation as soon as you see both the hits of her skill register. This will save some time. It's not that big, but still you can do it. After the liberation, hold her normal attack to spin and deal damage. Do this until her Forte Circuit's ephemeral is ready. Use the ephemeral to enter budding state. Then hold her attack button to keep spinning again. When the Forte Circuit is empty, end the spinning attack, then use her resonance skill again. If you are using the Dreamless Echo skill, use it now and swap back to your supports. If you are using the Mech Abomination Echo skill, use it at the start of Camellya's rotation, after her intro. Moving on to her sequences. Camellya has some decent to broken sequences. The first sequence gives her 28% crit damage increase after using her intro skill for 18 seconds. And she becomes immune to interruption while casting her 40 Circuit's ephemeral attack. It is around 11% damage increase, which is not worth it. The signature weapon will provide more damage increase. Her second sequence increases the damage multiplier of her ephemeral attack by 120%. The third sequence increases the damage multiplier of her resonance liberation by 50%. And when in budding state, she gets a 58% attack increase. The fourth sequence gives team-wide 25% basic attack damage bonus after casting her intro skill. The fifth sequence increases the damage multiplier of her outro skill by 303% and intro skill by 68%. And with the sixth sequence, Camellya will be dealing more than twice the damage of her S0. This sequence basically enhances the damage bonus in her budding state, and it gives her another skill just like the ephemeral attack. This skill is triggered after 15 seconds of using the ephemeral attack and if the concerto bar is filled. This skill is like second ephemeral, but better. It will also put Camellya in budding state and the bonus damage multiplier is increased to 250%. This sequence will greatly increase the duration of Camellya's rotations too, where you will need S1 Shorekeeper to buff her entire rotation. All in all, Camellya is an amazing DPS with a very unique playstyle. The problem I face while using her is getting interrupted while doing her attacks, which is very annoying, so you need to make sure that you dodge the attacks. Let me know in the comments what tier would you put Camellya in. And that's all for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Don't forget to like and share the video, and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Thanks for watching.